All right, if you will, we'll stand up, say the pledge, get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Somebody give us approval of the agenda, please.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Randy. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor? Aye. Any announcements? Hearing none. Public comment? Nobody? Okay. Anybody here for public comment in the audience that didn't sign up? Okay. None again. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll move we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Jeff. Second. Thank you, Randy. All in favor? Okay, that's some unanimous. Regular agenda. Harris County Sheriff's contract, request for funding for flock cameras.
Mr. Mayor, this item is a little bit confusing. Let me just describe what we've done so far. So a couple of weeks ago, Councilwoman Goode suggested we partner with the sheriff's office to purchase flock cameras, which for your information are cameras that are designed to capture license plates up to 100 miles an hour, I think up to 75 feet, if I'm not mistaken. The sheriff's department is not requesting funding from the town. The county has secured funding through the state for a pilot program to place a number of them throughout Henderson County. So the town doesn't need to take any action on this unless the town wants to purchase one of these cameras on its own. I don't remember the purchase price, but the annual subscription is $2,500. There's a $250 installation fee associated with it. At this point, I don't see the need for them. We have cameras in the park. We have cameras that read license plates so already. And the county is not investing local dollars. Again, it's a tax, excuse me, it's a grant program at the state level, a pilot program. And if it works, then they'll look to add additional cameras in the future. So I'm happy to answer you on any other questions that you might have. But again, there's no real action required at this time.
Okay. Anybody got any questions or discussion?
Well, when I spoke with the sheriff's department, I spoke to Mr. McMurray, and he had said that that would be something that we could help him with, is why I suggested it. And it did sound like a good opportunity for Mills River to have more coverage when, things go on and officers are not here. And I spoke with Mr. Player tonight, and he told me that they were doing it as a pilot program and that they did have grants to cover it, so that they would not be requesting money from the town.
That's right. Yep.
Any other questions or discussions or comment? Hearing none. Okay, we'll move on to B, public hearing for general fund budget fiscal year 2022-23.
Mr. Mayor, if you give me just one moment.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
Pull up the presentation I have. Okay, this evening. Should we go into public hearing first, or should I?
Okay, so yes, we'll need to enter into public hearing. Somebody make us the motion for this particular one.
I'll make a motion. We are in public hearing for just to have the budget presented, the 23 budget presented.
Okay, Randy made the motion. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sandra. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Okay, this evening, we're hosting a public hearing to hear comment and feedback from the public on the fiscal year 2022-2023 general fund operating budget, capital improvement plan, as well as resolutions for capital reserve accounts. This hearing was properly advertised as a public hearing. The budget was posted to the town's website. I believe it was the day after the meeting in May for public review, and we've not received any comment on it. So for the benefit of those who may be watching, I'll just do a quick overview. Again, calendar-wise, this started really back in February with updates from various agencies and funding requests. The presentation was completed on May 12th of this year. May 17th, we had a work session, and then on May 26th, we discussed it further. And the budget that has been presented to the public and was provided to you electronically includes all of the changes that were requested at the May 26th meeting. So tonight, we're hosting a public hearing. Council may adopt it this evening if it so chooses. It must be adopted by next Friday, July 1st. Again, just a quick summary of how we got here. We started with council in March, the visioning session. The budget presentation was completed on May 12th. We had a couple of work sessions. And then tonight, June 23rd, we're looking at the public hearing and potential adoption. And again, required by July 1st. Tax rate is staying the same at 19 cents per $100 valuation. That's 8 cents for town operations, 11 cents for the Mills River Fire Department. A penny of tax rate is equal to $148,814. The property valuation for the community is 1.6 billion. We're estimating a collection rate of 98%. The operating budget is $4,690,010, and the capital investment is $527,500. This budget does add 2.5 positions, bringing full-time employees to 11 and part-time to 3.5. And the total budget is $5,217,510. And that's all that I have as far as a presentation. I'm happy to entertain any questions the council might have.
Okay, anybody got any question? Hearing none.
That's right.
Excuse me, on page 32 for the Parks, Trails and Recreation and Advisory Committee, it says members of this committee are not required to live within the town's corporate limits.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
That's right. That board, as well as the Agricultural Advisory Committee, does not require residency within the town. The Board of Adjustment and Planning Board do.
Okay.
Anything else? Hearing none. At this point, we just need to make a motion to approve the budget as is. Nope, gotta come out of close.
You have to actually call for public comment.
Well, since we got some publics here, let's see if I get any public comment. Here we go.
Good evening, Mayor Gantz and Town Council. I'm Laura Moore, and I am currently a member of the Parks, Trails and Recreation Advisory Board. And I just wanted to come before you for just a couple of minutes and tell you thank you. First of all, thank you for the reappointment to the committee or to the advisory board. I've only been a member for a few months, and I'm looking forward to really getting in there and participating a lot more. And your support is greatly appreciated for that. I'm honored to serve the town of Mills River through Parks, Trails and Rec. And second of all, I want to thank you for approving the position of programmer in Mills River's 22-23 budget. Not only will this person be needed assistance for Nicole, he or she will also be an asset to our park by utilizing programs that we already have with those that our residents have requested and are eager to participate in right here in Mills River. Many that wouldn't be at all interested in an event in a neighboring park will now be able to participate in events that will benefit them as well as our community. In closing, I appreciate the job you are doing, and I'm excited to be a part of the great opportunities a programmer will open up for our Parks Department and for Mills River. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else?
I just wanted to pretty much reiterate the same thing as Laura, that we appreciate your consideration in adding the parks programmer. And we think this is going to be a great asset, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none. So are we ready now, Sue, to make a motion?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's no more discussion about the budget for 2022-23, I'm ready to hear a motion to approve it.
Our practice has been to close the public hearing and then
Okay, let's close this public hearing.
I'll make a motion. We
Thank you.
close public hearing.
Second,
I'll second it.
thank you, Sandra. All in favor? Aye. Okay, now we're ready.
Mayor Gons, I'd like to make a motion. This council approve budget ordinance for fiscal year 22-23 as presented.
Thank you, Jeff. Second. Any discussion?
I'd like to make one quick comment, thanking Mr. Cobb again for putting together the budget that was aesthetically pleasing for what it's worth. And yeah, just it was a lot of hard work. Thank you.
With that being said, any other discussion, comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, we'll move on to C. Budget fiscal year 2022-2023.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to hand this off to Sue Powell, our finance director, to run through a couple of notes for you.
my apologies. I'm used to having help and I'm a little scattered, but
That's
I got it. I got you. All right. Back in, well, actually at the last audit, our auditor pointed out that the state had passed a requirement that all penalties be held in a special revenue fund. So we made the proper entries, council set a budget on that fund, created the fund, and now this is going to require every year. We set a budget. We're basically estimating what penalties we'll take in. It's mostly on property tax. And then that goes to Henderson County School Board. This year, we've still got a week to see, but we're roughly about $6,900. So the $10,000 budget was an estimate.
Makes sense. So. And this has been in place for how many years now? Just 2?
We actually set it up during this fiscal year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a fairly new requirement.
Okay.
So basically, unless you have questions, it's a motion to approve the ordinance and set a budget for this
For
fund.
this, okay. And this will be a separate line item in our budget that we'll see if we look to see where it's at. or-
It's not in the budget that you've been discussing.
Okay,
This is in a separate pot.
okay,
And it's always passed through the town's books before. So it looked like revenue and an expenditure,
okay.
and it's not our money. It
So
belongs
that's
to the
why we have
school
to do
board.
it separate, and put it off to the side.
Right, the
Okay.
the North Carolina Constitution gives that money to the school board. So yeah, whole idea is it pulls it out of our general fund, so it's not overstated. And the expenses aren't overstated, though it's never been even $10,000, but it's just a matter of improved accounting.
Exactly. I would ask, how often does this get paid back to the Harris County School Board
Annually,
annually? Okay,
and it's based on payments received on penalties that year.
Okay.
Which the penalties are basically late list penalties.
Okay.
Or if, I believe there's something involved when somebody loses their present use value classification.
all right, I would entertain a motion to approve this for fiscal year 2022-23. Ordinance number 2022-12.
I'll move we approve ordinance 2022-12, special revenue fund ordinance for fines and forfeitures for fiscal year 22-23 with the budget of $10,000.
Thank you, Jeff. Second. Thank you, James. Any discussion about this? Hearing none. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, we'll move on to D, budget amendments for fiscal year 2021-22.
So you're all aware that the state requires that every municipality have a balanced budget. We, in March, adjusted our budget to account for any departments that would have been over, and the only one that was fire. And that was based on, because we base what we pay the fire department on collections, that meant our collections were higher than we anticipated. We thought we had anticipated enough through the end of the year, but motor vehicle property tax collections were even higher than we anticipated. So we're having to adjust one more time in order to not have that department over budget.
All right, any questions or discussion on this? Everybody understands the reason and why we got to here. I need a motion to approve budget amendments for ordinance 2022-13.
So moved.
Thank you, Randy. Second.
Second.
Thank you, James. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. E, committee reappointments for the Ag Advisory Committee. Bert Limpkis and Bradley Johnston are up come August 27th. Are these 2-year terms?
These are 2-year terms. They are both founding members of this board, which is, and my apologies, there was not a copy of an application for Mr. Johnston. I did reach out to him. Though with the email I have, I don't know if it even got to him.
Mayor Gantz, I spoke to Bradley today by telephone and asked him as a courtesy to submit an application, which he was willing to do. He's at home recovering from surgery and I didn't have time to carry one out there, but he will be submitting one. So let me digress a little bit and publicly thank the town clerk for bringing this to our attention well before 30 days, especially given the fact we won't have July meetings. So thank you for giving us ample notice about the upcoming vacancies. That being said, I don't know if it'd be the pleasure of this council just to table any action until we get Mr. Johnston's application as well as any others that may come for our next meeting. But he has expressed interest to continue serving and his willingness to submit an application.
By consensus, everybody okay with tabling this to a future meeting?
So those appointments are up on the 27th of August, and you're okay with them coming to you on the 11th?
August 11th.
That would be your
Yes,
next.
given our meeting schedule. But at least, again, thank you for making us aware and especially given the fact that there may not be a July meeting. other than a special call one.
And just so you know, there are no more terms that are ending unless somebody quits through December 31st.
Okay, so we don't need to make any action on that if we're just moving it forward, correct? Okay. Well, nothing else on our regular agenda. We'll move on to our staff updates. Town clerk. When you get caught up.
Okay, I don't have much other than fiscal year end is on June 30. So myself and the rest of the staff are scrambling, trying to get ready for that and for starting the new year. But other than that, I don't have anything exciting to report.
That's all right. Parks and Rec Director, Nicole.
Just a quick update. So our picnic shelter restroom is moving along. So if you go out there, the grading was complete earlier this week. They're working on surveying the spots for footers the end of this week, and we should see footers and concrete starting to get poured next week. With building vertical hopefully happening shortly after the 4th of July. So that project's moving along nicely. Other than that, I would just like to publicly thank my park staff that made it through our little sickness spell. We had a rough go the last 3 weeks, and Amy was our lone standing park staff, and she did an amazing job keeping this place running, keeping this place mowed. And then my part-time staff really stepped up to make sure everybody still had a clean, safe, wonderful place to come play the last few weeks. So I just want to throw that out there and thank them for really stepping up the last few weeks.
Make sure you thank them for us as well. And I'm glad everybody made it through it and nobody had it no worse than they did. Zoning administrator, I mean.
Yeah, quick permitting update. So commercial and industrial development or interest in the town remains strong. This week I permitted the new Acoustic Credit Union branch. So if you see construction next to Burning Blush where Presbyterian Church Road meets Boylston Highway, that's going to be their new location. They should begin permitting with the county shortly. And then all about plumbing on Old Haywood Road. Just north of the Hills Machinery site, they're doing a 6,500 square foot building expansion. And this is a trend that I'm continuing to see is commercial investment in the town. So all good news. There's a couple industrial development inquiries that have come down the pipe recently. So it looks positive for the future. So just wanted to report that.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Town manager.
I would like to echo Nicole's comments about COVID and staff stepping up. Myself and a number of other staff members came down with COVID within a couple of days of one another. And there were 3 amigos left in town hall, and they did a fantastic job and continue to do so. So I just wanted to put that out there and say that I appreciate everyone's additional hard work. And in other news, last year, the town council authorized an agreement with the North Carolina Department of Transportation for the construction of a guardrail on Butler Bridge Road. And the town had to pay for that. And there was the contract, the municipal agreement states essentially that the number that they give the town is an estimate and the town's responsible for anything in addition to that. Good news is it came in under budget. So we just got a refund today of $5,200 from that project. So yes, that's a good thing. The AV upgrades to this room are scheduled to begin the week of the 14th and should take 10 days, 2 weeks. So we should be all wrapped up by the time council gets back together in August. And speaking of council meeting, we do not have any regular meetings scheduled in July, although we do need one very brief meeting. There's a resolution that we're required to adopt within the fiscal year that in which it applies to formally charge the tax collector to collect taxes. So last year we did it on July 1st. It was a quick Zoom meeting, which would work well for us if that works for council. I would respectfully request that we host that next Friday morning at 11. Should work. Anybody else? And last year it was entirely remote. You just need to log in for 5 minutes. Everybody okay with that?
Can you do that, Sandra? Does it work? Okay, that's good.
Or Sandra, it literally will be 5 minutes. So if it's something you just feel you can't do, it's a resolution that has to get passed every year that says tax collector, collect our taxes. So what I'm saying is you should not feel guilty if it's not something you can make.
There was one council member last year that couldn't log on in time and missed it. So,
I will
But
be,
no big-
I will be out of town, but I feel comfortable. I can at least Zoom from my phone, hopefully. I don't see why I couldn't from where I'll be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be out for that. Great. Okay.
And anyone who doesn't, who feels they cannot make it, if you'd let us know so that if we're not going to have a quorum, we'll have to reschedule it. But it has to be done well before she gets the tax file and starts working on the tax bills.
It can happen later in July. We're just trying to get it knocked out. I have some vacation time coming up.
Okay.
But again, if it first doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I mean, as soon as I get, I'm supposed to be there like on the 28th, so I don't know how good my cell service is. Yeah, it's like I'm going to the beach, I'm going to the mountains, so we'll see. Should
That
be.
can sometimes be worse.
It may, that's what I'm saying, I don't know.
Like I said, if you're not
Okay, I'll
able
let-
to,
yeah.
we will reschedule it for
Okay,
sometime when everybody's back in town.
okay, sounds good.
Since it's a special meeting, we need to set it by motion.
Somebody make us a motion to set that for next Friday at 11 a.m.
motion, we set a special meeting for July the 1st at 11 a.m.
Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
The last update I have, Mayor, is just that we've got a couple of closed sessions coming up.
Right. Okay, any council comments? For the ones that's on, watching on Zoom, we did have a proclamation to make, to proclaim July as Parks and Rec for the month of, for Mills River, correct? All right. Get that out there. And then we'll need someone to make us a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11. Thank you, Randy. Second.
Second.
Thank you, James. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll give a chance to clear out and we'll go again.